So I think we're still on episode 4, but I'm not really sure because Rick screwed up this recording about 17 times. The camera's up. So anyways, here we go. Welcome to episode 4 of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast, voted the #1 podcast in the United States by none other than Economy Sign Supply out of Miami. Thank you very much, Jose and Chiquito Nelson. We appreciate you guys. If you're in Miami area, make sure you're buying from those guys. That's our preferred sign supply distributor in the Miami area. Anyways, Tyler, what are we going to talk about?
We talked about what shows we recommend people attend, but today we want to talk about what do you look for when you're going to decide if you're going to go to the show again, or maybe if you're a wholesaler, if you're going to distribute at them, what we look for to tell if we're going to do them long term. And we're going to do that by kind of recapping our most recent visit to GPX Irving show. So it'll also be a recap of that show as well. But before we get into that, we got a lot of housekeeping to get out of the way. We got to be the #1 fact check podcast in the last week. A lot of people have called us out for saying things incorrectly with all sorts of stuff. So we got to get a little bit of that out of the way.
Yep. The #1 fact check podcast in the United States is the Slightly Serious Sign podcast, apparently. So here we go. We did make some mistakes. We're gonna clear them up right now. Episode 2, we said we made a mention that Grimco bought Midwest Sign. I think the entire world knew we were talking about Midwest Sign and Screen, with the exception of Midwest Neon. Called us out or called one of my sales reps to say that we were talking about them. We were not talking about Midwest Neon. We were absolutely talking about Midwest Sign and Screen. That's who Grimco bought. Grimco did not buy Midwest Neon. I actually did try to clear it up when I first heard about it. I was going to post something, to them and tag their social media, but they don't have social media.
Couldn't find them.
So I couldn't find them on social media. So I went to their website and same thing. I can download a 2019 catalog. But anyways, no, I believe Midwest Neon is still owned by the Neese family. I knew Harry. I don't know Todd very well. I think I've only met him a couple of times. I never really had a conversation with him, but they do a good job there in Chicago. They're a single location in Chicago. They do a good job, especially in the electrical market. We compete with them right there. They do a good job. But Todd, we weren't talking about you guys. I think it was Todd, Jim Murphy, Mike Dunn, the 3 guys that called us out. But we weren't talking about you. We were talking about Midwest Sign and Screen. Midwest Neon is still privately owned.
Yes.
Not by Grimco.
Second big error that we made was in the show episode, we talked about how we had to put together a booth with a 6-volt drill from Nick at Montroy, and we were wrong. Nick called us out. It was actually a 4-volt drill, and it has a name. It's called Old Reliable. So we apologize for misnaming your drill. If you had maybe brought a 6-volt drill, we might have gotten it done in time and not needed the help. So maybe next time just bring a regular drill.
Yeah, seriously, like a lot of my grandkids' toys are way more powerful. Like that little fake mixer they have is more powerful than that drill that Nick had.
Yeah, we were running on 2 watch batteries trying to get a booth put together. Yeah, we couldn't figure out why it was taking us so long.
Yeah, exactly right. So the other thing we want to talk about is Principal Sloan, the episode 2. We talked about it, and we know there's another side. A couple people said, hey, there's some rebuttals, and we know that. We know there's rebuttal. We know there's other sides to that story. We also know that the other side of the story is not being told. I kind of know why the other side of the story is not being told. The reality of that is if everything we said is kind of true, it's kind of not a legal transaction. It's kind of an antitrust deal. So not everything we said could be true, or it truly would be a kind of an illegal transaction. So we know there's another side. We know that everything we said is probably not true. We're just putting out there what could and couldn't be true. But we welcome Principal to sit right here. At some point, we'll have Grimco on the show. We might not talk about the Principal LED, but there's a lot of good people at Grimco that are that I would consider friends of mine that we've had some fun with. There is video out there. Abby from Avery, please don't share it. But there is video of me and some Grimco guys singing some karaoke one night together. So please don't show it. But there's also arm wrestling between me and Grimco and me and GSG. We can show that video. So they underestimated the power of the fat old grandpa.
Yeah, what I think a lot of people don't realize, especially like our customers, is that we were been talking about, GSG and Grimco and Glance and all those people. But the reality is that we know most of these people. Like, we know the owners of these other companies. It's not like we're all hate each other. Like, we probably talk way more frequently than they would think. Like, when we go down, like we're just talking about going to GPX Irving, the first person we talked to was Jared from GSG. He saw us before we even made it to the show. Like, that's just kind of how this industry works. It's very close. So obviously we compete with them. So sometimes it's, not all happy, but a lot of times like we're dealing with the same things, the same customers, the same product, the same recalls, all that kind of stuff. So we know a lot of those guys, and we'll try and bring as many of them on as we can so you can see that like, hey, we really do know these guys.
Yeah, I think we're a little different industry in that point where we're actually all, decent friends. I mean, we all get along very well. I mean, we text each other outside of even shows and stuff like that to see what's going on. So it is pretty nice to know like, okay, we really know each other, and we will bring these people on. We'll sit here and talk, and there's obviously some things we can't share. There's antitrust rules and stuff like that. But yeah, we're all pretty tight when it comes right down to it. And it's a big market, but it's such a small place when you actually get us all in the same room. So you ready to go? Ready to talk about GPX?
Yeah. So we're just going to kind of recap what happened at GPX, and then through that tell you kind of what we were looking for in terms of deciding if we're going to have a booth at the future shows. And that'll give you an idea of what to look for if like, hey, do I want to continue to do the show in the future? What should I be looking for in terms of the growth and the attendance and like who is exhibiting and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's just start with the airport. That was
Well, let's
weird.
start just before the airport. So Tuesday, we left on Wednesday. The Tuesday before, so I'd been sick for like 3 weeks, coughing, sick, and everybody's been saying, you need to go to the doctor, you need to go to the doctor. Well, because I'm kind of stubborn, I didn't go to the doctor. So Tuesday before, I'm like, I better probably go to the doctor before I have to fly to Texas. So I went to the doctor, and apparently I had pneumonia in both lungs. So because I always listen to the doctor and I always do what I'm told, she said, and this is word for word, you need to go home and rest, take these 3 medicines, and then if you're not better by Sunday, come back in. So I did. I went home, laid down for like 10 minutes, got up, took my meds, flew to Texas.
Yeah, so there was a guy at the airport and a guy like 2 rows behind me on the whole flight. He just would not stop coughing. It was the whole trip. In the car, he's coughing. In the plane, he's coughing. In the airport, he's coughing. In the restaurants, he's coughing. Everyone's just looking at us. And I don't know. It was a hard trip.
So if you hear me coughing during this too, I'm still kind of recovering.
Not recovered.
And my voice is kind of weird, my voice is still recovering too. So anyways, that's how my trip started. And we can talk about the whole week. So the week was a big week for our family too.
Yeah.
So we had my youngest son got possession of his first house. So now all 3 of my kids have houses, which means I have 4 houses to maintain now. I mean, any dads out there just kind of know. And I also had, my middle son had a child too. So I had my 5th grandkid this week also. So we had an extra grandkid and extra house. Just means I need to stay at work, keep making money because it's ridiculous.
Now you have 4 houses to take care of and like 8 people. So
yeah, I got 4 houses to maintain and 5 grandkids to feed and clothe.
yeah, you can't get sick anymore. No more days off. You got to stay at work.
It's kind of
It's a
ridiculous.
lot of money.
Another quick funny story too. My wife said, hey, I really want to take this wall down and make a bigger pantry. We raised 3 teenage boys. Actually, we raised 4 total. So I had 3 boys, and then we had another boy that lived with us. So at one point we had 4, growing teenage boys in there, and the pantry was big enough. But now that we have 5 grandkids, the pantry's not big enough. and it's only her and I that live in the house. Like we don't need a bigger pantry, but we got all those, what are those things called again?
Squeezies.
You got all those squeezies and I don't know what else they have, little gummy things and stuff like that, and they're different juices. So yeah, she thinks we need a bigger pantry because we got all these grandkids. So it's not going to happen though. But anyways, let's get back to the GPX show. So we flew in. Why don't you talk about the airport? Because we had a good time at the airport.
So we were like literally could not find a spot to sit down. We were at Midway, so you guys are probably familiar with this, but we're all crammed into like the last 4 terminals, which they slam you in like sardines. And we're like, let's just walk around. We'll find somewhere to sit down, or at least just walk around the airport. We go into the A wing, and there's not a single flight leaving out of the wing. There was nobody in that whole, like the guy at the bar was trying to get us to sit down, probably because he hadn't seen anybody all day. There was nobody there. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
And normally we would sit at the bar, but I was feeling under the weather.
Yeah. You know those people you hate on the moving walkways that just stand there? That was us. I took a picture of it. I was laughing so hard. We were just standing on the moving walkway because he couldn't breathe. He had to catch his breath. It was awesome. But
yeah, I never realized how important those moving walkways were until you like you have pneumonia in the airport. And I'd walk 10 steps. I had to like stand on the moving walkway. I was the one that's standing there, and it had knocked me off at the end.
Yeah. But we made it to Texas. So what we were looking for, GPX changed ownership. So we were checking to see kind of how the attendance was, how the show was going to run, if they changed anything. They changed it from a free show to a paid show. It's not expensive. I think it was like $20 a ticket or something like that. So nothing extreme, but we were curious, hey, how does that affect people showing up to the show? And is it going to affect attendance in a negative way, which would make it not worth it to put these booths up? These booths are expensive. If you didn't know, it's like $3,500 for a 10 by 10. That's just booth space, right? We're not talking about electrical or shipping to the booth, all that stuff. So if you have like a big booth, like GSG had a massive booth at that show, right? That they were like they were half the show.
Yeah, they're like 40 by 40 or something like that.
I don't know what it was. Yeah, it was like, I think it was like a 20 by 30 and a 10 by 30. So yeah, you guys can do the math. You can figure that out.
Yeah,
but
it was expensive.
Not including all the equipment that they brought into the show. But so we were just checking, are people coming to the show? What does the schedule look like? What are they trying to push? What are they trying to do? So that's what we were there for. Everyone was confused why we were at the show in general. Everyone's like, why are you guys in Texas? Like, you don't have any reason to be here.
We were there to sell LEDs.
Yeah, we kept telling them we were there to steal all their LED business, but GSG didn't think it was very funny. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what we were looking for. So what did you think? What did you think of the show?
We were there on Thursday. Thursday was dead. I don't know why they do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sorry, GPX, you're probably listening, but Thursday, Friday, Thursday was absolutely dead. When we were there, there was nobody in the show. But the other part I didn't like about the show is it's turned into more of an apparel show. Wasn't a lot of sign guys. When it was MBM, there was a lot of sign guys there. The only two real sign dealers there were GSG and Reese. And then you kind of walked around. There was I think it was a Mamaki. Oh, can we say Mamaki? We don't sell them.
Yeah, I think we can say it.
Okay.
They're not on the red flag list.
Okay, so there was a Mamaki booth, but outside of that, most of it was an apparel booth. Like there was a lot of DTF, direct to film stuff going on. There was some heat transfer going on. There was screen printing going on. No, there was one other supplier there. The
Reliable Sign Supply.
Reliable Sign Supply was there also. And they had some machines too. So there was 3 sign dealers there, but like there was none of our vendors there. Like nobody that sells to us. So it was like, it's all on you. And it was mainly, they were just selling equipment. It wasn't a lot of like just sign stuff. So like basically if you go to the show, you need to sell equipment at the show. And we already sell enough equipment by just door-to-door sales. Like, man, do we need some random person coming in buying equipment from us? Like a BN20 or a DTF machine? It makes me nervous about the show. I mean, Rap's kind of be different, but like, yeah, GPX was more of a apparel show. Looked like ISS.
Yeah, that's what's weird about it too, is because there's already 3 or 4 specific apparel shows. So it seems like this is kind of the last sign show that's out there, and yet it's completely changing to an apparel show. There was probably, I don't know, 8 to 10 DTF printers there. There's probably 3 or 4 screen print options. There was a bunch of people selling transfers. Specialty was selling sheets of heat transfer vinyl.
Yeah, they had a craft booth.
You should be sending us that business, but we won't complain about it. But yeah, it's just super weird that it's going from it's the graphics show, but it's really turning into more of an apparel show. And like you said, Rap's gonna be different. I mean, it's around that theme, so I assume there'll be way more printing and wrapping and all that stuff there. But it'll be interesting to see what Indy looks like once it comes back around, and if maybe it's just the Texas version, right? Because they get different exhibitors at all their shows, but it might just be different compared to their normal one. I mean, if you're in apparel, I think go to the show. You're going to see at least the newest stuff that's available. You can at least see what's out there. It's $20. I mean, with that show, you probably could have walked in 45 minutes, to be honest with you. I mean, if you really wanted to talk to everybody, it took us, I don't know, 2 hours, and we spent like 45 minutes at one booth. So
yeah. If you're into DTF, sure, you can see all the different DTF. And we were a little bit interested. We've kind of shied from DTF so far. But we got to see all the different DTF machines, which was nice to see. But like, I would like to see more sign stuff or more, there's no 3M, there's no Avery, there's no, Arlon, there's no substrate people, there's no electrical people. Like it's just t-shirt. Like there was no LEDs there.
Yeah, we
should have had LEDs there.
We only had 2 two vendors, I think, at the show, right? Specialty and Safety Speed were the only two that were there, right? Am I missing anyone?
Yeah, that's correct. And Safety Speed was just in the Stratajet booth.
Yeah. He was out there competing with us. I'm just kidding, Steve, by the way. But yeah, so it's very weird. Like we looked at a few new shows that we're going to do this year, and one of the factors for me to do them was I saw that like Arlon and Avery and 3M were doing the shows. I know they vet those shows super well, so it makes me a little nervous when they're not doing these shows anymore. And I think RapsCon is different. I know at least one of those three will be at RapsCon. It might be two of them, honestly, but
that old company we talked about too is going to.
We'll definitely have a booth. I appreciate someone in the Facebook comments clearing that up for everybody. It was a little confusing. Nobody knew who we were talking about, but
somebody knew.
Somebody knew who we were
just call them OK. There's an O and a K. We're just from here on out. You guys are known as OK, unless you want to change that. Like we've talked about it.
Yeah, you can call us. You can
call us. You know who I am.
But so it's just a weird. The show's just changing. I mean, maybe it'll be different, right? Us not going there. I mean, we might go there now only because there seems like there's no sign people there. So us bringing that kind of equipment, we might be the only ones there selling it. It's a little easier that way. We got to compete with Mamaki, obviously, who's there, and Reliable had some equipment there too. GSG obviously had Rollins in their booth too, but other than that, like it's mostly apparel. So if you're trying to sell sign stuff, you're in the minority at the show currently. So a little different. Like I said, if you're looking for apparel, I think you definitely go. If you're looking for signage, I don't know. Wait till we recap Indy, I guess, and then decide if you want to go again.
Yeah. So, what was your best part? What was your favorite part of the show?
The favorite part of all of the shows I attend is pretty much just the food. I think it's pretty much the only reason I go.
You don't get food at home?
I do, but we don't get the restaurants that they have. So it's even better to go to Texas. They got a bunch of them. I say that though, and we didn't go to In-N-Out. We didn't go to what's the barbecue one? It was right next to the chicken one right next to it.
Cane's or something like that?
Yeah, Raising Cane's. We didn't go to In-N-Out. We didn't go to any of them. The only place we went to was Yard House.
No, we did. So yeah, we don't have Yard House by us. So when we get the chance to go to Yard House has good food, and they obviously have like 100 beers on tap. So like, we did eat there 4 times.
Yeah, we did go to what's it called? The Lodge? Is that what it was called?
It was like the Ranch or something.
The Ranch. Yeah, they had live country music when we were leaving, so that was cool. Their food was good. It was good, but the Yard House food is.
They have one of the things on their menu. So if I go into any restaurant and they have country fried steak on the menu, I have to order it. Like it's one of those things, like if you have country fried steak on the menu, I have to order it. And if you have calamari as an appetizer, I have to order it. Like it's just my staple. So I had the country fried steak and it was good.
The country fried steak was in the review. It was literally the only reason we went is because the first review said they have good country fried steak. And we're like, all right, I guess we're going. We did get Tex-Mex too while we were down there. So
yeah, we got discriminated against in Tex-Mex.
They literally brought our food to another table, and that table said, yes, that is our food. And then they brought us their food. So all I have to say is my food was good, and I have no idea what it was.
Yeah, it wasn't right.
I don't know what they brought me.
So you go to the counter and you order, and then they say, hey, go sit down. And I noticed a couple things. Number one, we were the only white people in there. There was a lot of Hispanics in there, which means, okay, it's going to be like, it's authentic, good food. So that was one thing. But when we said like, hey, we need a Coke, we got regular Coke. I watched the next people going down, and you've seen them. They have them at Gordon's now too, the Mexican Coke, which is way better than our Coke. Like, and they got that. But then, yeah, they brought the plate to another people, which it should have been pretty easy to figure out who we were. Like, but it wasn't. So anyways, yeah, we ate what we didn't. I actually had the right meal. So I think what happened is another group
it was very similar.
They had the same meal as mine, but then Tyler's meal was different. So anyways, we didn't complain. We're not the type that like, oh, you didn't get the right. We just like, oh, okay, well, that's what we're going to eat.
That's what I said. I said it was really good. The problem was I just I have no idea what I ordered on the menu because it was not what I ordered. And I was like, yeah, still good. I'll just eat it. Yeah. It was good. The food was good. That was good. But the Yard House was.
Yeah, I like going, you know, I travel all the time, so I get to eat out all the time. So sometimes I like to eat at home, but we only have 2 meals. I mean, you grew up in our house. We have 2 different meals, and that's it. So we have what we call fend for yourself. And then if cooking's going on, we got nausea. That's the 2 meals we have at my house.
That's pretty rude, but maybe pretty close.
I mean, it just is what it is. So,
but that was the highlight. So yeah, I mean, in terms of GPX, like I said, what I would look for, if there's one close to you, honestly, I would just go, right? Like it's cheap. You get it was a lot of vendors, right? There was probably 40 or so of them there. All the new stuff is there, right? So anyone that is there will have their new stuff. You can walk the show. You can talk to them. The plus side of them not being like a busier show, like an ISA or Print United, is that you actually have some time, right? So if you're in the booth, you're probably going to get someone to talk to you, and you're probably going to have some time versus the other shows where they're kind of, I mean, even us, we're trying to like find out if you're interested or move you along because the attendance is lower. It's a lot easier to talk to people. What I would like to say in the disclaimer of the attendance was low is that Dallas does not get a lot of rain, and it downpoured for like the entire time we were there, like to the point where you got out of your car and you would just immediately be soaked. The plus side is the parking garage was covered, but maybe the people coming didn't know that. So maybe that's a little different, but
yeah, they scared of the rain there.
I think so.
Jared from GSG, let me know. Are you guys scared of the rain? Like nobody goes out in the rain. Like the restaurants weren't even busy. Like just nobody goes out.
Yeah, the roads were flooded. I mean, they don't get any rain, so I had nowhere to go. It was.
Yeah, it's when you put your address in for the airport, it said flood.
Every time we put in the GPS, it said your route may be affected by flooding, is what it said.
So
that might have affected attendance, but I think we'll be we'll exhibit at RapsCon is what it sounds like. And then from there, we'll decide if we're going to do indie. But like I said, if you're in the area, you should definitely attend. If you're into rapping, just go to RapsCon, see what it's all about. It'll be very different this year, so I don't know what to expect from it. Ruggs, who was running it, isn't there anymore, so I don't know what exactly they're going to change. I know they met with some people to talk about what they should do and shouldn't do. It sounds like they're getting some of the big names out there, so hopefully they'll have the people they need to make that show go well. I think they will. Hopefully, if not, they'll reach out because we probably can get in touch with some people. But that's kind of the goal. That's kind of my takeaway from GPX, in my opinion, on like what you look for and what shows you should do is kind of, are they going to have what you're looking for? If you're in the market for new stuff, I think just always go to whatever show you're looking for. That's where you're going to see all of it at one time. And then are the vendors you want to talk to actually going to be at the show? Yeah.
And for $20, if you just find one booth that you learn some knowledge, it's worth your $20.
Yeah. I mean, shoot.
So it only takes one person to like, and the reality is what you don't know, you don't know. So all of a sudden you see it like, oh, now I understand it. Like that's kind of where it's at. So yeah, if you got time, get to the GPX show,
especially if they're close. But I mean, that pretty much wraps up what we're looking for from GPX, what we're looking for in shows, what we think you should look for when you're going to attend one, or even if you're going to exhibit at one. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you have questions, anything you want to do, just reach out, find us on socials. We'll be happy to talk about it. If you have topic suggestions, we're here for it. If you want to be on the podcast, reach out. We're probably not going to have all of you on. We've had a lot of people reach out, a lot of support. I mean, we made the first three we made them all back to back. So we didn't really have any feedback going to the first three, but there's been a gap between this one. A lot of people said they liked the podcast. So we just want to say, appreciate you guys. Please subscribe. Please watch on YouTube, because right now Sign Out and GSG are running ads on our YouTube channel. So if I could stop them, it'd be awesome. But
please watch it on YouTube, because Sign Outlet and GSG are running ads on our thing, and we need how many more? We need a lot. Rick told me we need another 1,000. So we need another 1,000 hours. 1,500. Now we need another. So we need like 2,500 hours. So we need a lot. Okay, and we apologize again to the people that fact checked us. Midwest Neon. Sorry, we should have been more clear. We apologize.
And Nick, I didn't mean to insult your drill.
Yeah,
but please bring a bigger one next time.
Yeah. Maybe steal it from your older daughter, not the younger one. Maybe hers is more powerful. Anyways, take care. We'll see you at the next episode.
Bye.
Goodbye.